You just did it again. Someone misread you, raised an eyebrow, threw a loaded question across the table, and your mouth opened before your spine could stop it. You explained. You clarified. You smoothed the wrinkle on their face with your own breath. That reflex you call honesty, that twitch you call being mature, is the cleanest signature of a slave still asking permission to exist. Watch what really happens in that microsecond. Your pulse spikes, your tone climbs half an octave. You start arranging your life into bullet points for a jury that never paid your rent, never bled for your name, never carried a single hour of your real weight. Every word you offer is a coin pulled from a vault you spent decades filling in silence, and you hand it to strangers as if their understanding were currency you needed to survive the night. It is not. It never was. The crowd does not bank your explanations. They spend them. They quote you out of context at dinner parties in Brooklyn lofts and break rooms in Dallas. They build a paper version of you, then judge that paper. Meanwhile, the real you is exhausted, audited, leaking. You wake up tired and cannot name why. The why is simple. You have been paying psychological tax on income you never earned to a government of opinions that does not even know your address. And you keep filing, voluntarily, daily, smiling. Understand this with the cold precision of a surgeon, because nothing in your life changes until this single law is etched into bone. The desire to be understood is the deepest, oldest instinct of the servant class. It was bred into you in elementary school when the teacher asked why you did it, and the correct answer was a confession dressed as an explanation. It was reinforced at the family dinner table, where love was conditional on being legible. It was finalized in your first job, where being misunderstood by a manager felt like a small death. You were trained, generation by generation, that clarity to others equals safety for you. That equation is the chain. Power runs in the opposite direction. Power is the man who walks into a room, says less than required, leaves before the questions form, and lets every observer construct their own private mythology about him. Some will think he is arrogant. Some will think he is dangerous. Some will think he is broken. He does not correct a single one of them. Why would he? Each false conclusion is a free wall built around his fortress, and he did not lift a brick. The masses are not your jury. They are your terrain. Their ignorance is not a bug to be patched with a heartfelt paragraph. Their ignorance is the fog you operate inside while they squint and guess. The moment you explain, you turn on the lights, hand them a map of your interior, and step naked into a courtroom that was never legally convened. You think you are clearing your name. You are publishing your blueprint. Look at the operators in any serious arena. The hedge fund manager in Manhattan does not justify his position to the analyst who fired off a smug tweet. The veteran in a small Montana town does not unpack his silence for the dinner guest who made a careless joke. The woman who finally walked away from her family group chat does not return with a 4-paragraph defense when they call her cold. They have all crossed the same threshold. They learned that the reply is the leak. The reply is the wound. The reply is where they bleed. Now picture yourself last Tuesday. Imagine you are sitting in a glass conference room, the kind with the cheap motivational quote stenciled on the wall. A coworker, the smiling kind who memorizes everyone's birthday and weaponizes it, leans back and says, in that surgical tone, that you have changed lately, that you seem distant, that people are starting to notice. Watch what your old self does. Your old self leans in. Your old self lists the reasons. Your old self mentions the workload, the family thing, the sleep, offers a small laugh as a peace offering, maybe even apologizes for something that never happened. By the time you walk out of that room, she has a folder on you, mental, detailed, exploitable, and you built it for her, page by page, with your own mouth. Now run the new operating system. Same room, same chair, same surgical question. You let 3 full seconds of silence land on the table like a brick. You hold her gaze without softening your face. You say calmly that you have noticed too. Nothing else. No list. No defense. No nervous laugh. You let her sit inside her own assumption and watch it grow legs and walk in circles around her own head. She will leave that room more disturbed by your silence than any explanation could ever achieve. And you will leave with every coin still in your vault. That is the architecture. Not coldness for its own sake, strategic withholding, the willingness to be misread by people whose reading of you was never going to feed you, never going to fight for you, never going to remember your name in 10 years. You stop treating their confusion as your emergency. You start treating their confusion as your moat. The crowd needs a villain to organize itself. Let them cast you. The role pays well. It pays in unbothered mornings. It pays in calls you do not return. It pays in the quiet, surgical clarity of knowing exactly who you are, while the room invents 17 wrong versions of you and exhausts itself trying to keep them straight. There is a particular peace that arrives only after you have stopped negotiating with strangers for the rights to your own image. It does not feel warm. It feels like granite, cool, immovable, finally yours. The man who needs to be understood is always one comment away from collapse. The man who has stopped explaining cannot be reached, cannot be cornered, cannot be priced. He has removed himself from the auction. So here is the override, and you will use it within 24 hours because the trigger is already on its way. The next time someone raises an eyebrow, fires the loaded question, drops the calculated comment designed to pull a confession from your chest, you will do exactly one thing. You will close your mouth. You will count to 3 inside your skull. You will offer them a single sentence or nothing at all, and you will walk. No follow-up text, no clarifying email at midnight, no replay in the shower. Let the misunderstanding stand. Let it ferment. Let it become the wall they cannot climb. Choose now. You can keep paying tax to a country that does not exist, keep filing reports to a jury that never showed up, keep bleeding leverage to people who would not lift a finger if you fell, or you can step into the silence and become unreachable. The masses will keep talking about who they think you are. That is fine. They were never going to stop. The question is whether you will still be in the room, listening, or already gone, building the next thing they will misread.